Hi Ellen, my name is Karen Hamilton and I'm from Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. The reason I made this video was for it to be inspiring to your viewers and those who may be in your audience who are kind of like me. The past 2 years, due to the recession, it's been very difficult. And I know it has been for so many families out there. In the past year has been probably one of the worst having to have gone through. I am a single mother. My daughter Kelsey is 18 years old and will be graduating high school hopefully next month in June. She's the love of my life, the light of my life, and one of the most inspiring people that helps me get through each and every day, even if I don't see her face every day. A lot of things that happen to a lot of people lately are they have lost their homes or they have lost their jobs. Fortunately, I do still have my apartment. I have not been able to work since 2003 after having been diagnosed as manic depressive after the death of my father in 1996. It was very hard to deal with at the time, and I didn't want to recognize it for a number of years, and I continued to try to work, but I finally had to face the fact that I wasn't able to. The past year especially has been the most difficult for us. Growing up, my daughter and we didn't have everything, like a lot of people. We had the basics. No matter how hard I wished I could have given her everything that she had wanted. I think a child becomes spoiled maybe by that a little bit, but she is definitely not spoiled. She is just abundantly loved, as my mother would say. Since my father died, my mother has contracted emphysema, and beginning last year, my brother was sent to Afghanistan. He lives in South Carolina and is with the Army National Guard. That was the beginning of a really bad year for myself, and it just had a snowball effect, went from there and seemed to get worse. March of last year, due to having emphysema, my mother catches colds very easily. She had contracted pneumonia and was in the hospital again. She was due to come home on a Thursday, April 1st of 2011. She sounded good. Our doctor sounded optimistic that everything was going well. A few hours later that day, I received a phone call from my sister that she had been rushed to ICU. There had been some complications. They had put her on what's called an IPAP machine, or an IPAP mask. And essentially what that does is her body was taking in a lot of oxygen but wasn't strong enough or able to expel the carbon dioxide, so it was building up in her lungs and in her body. This IPAP mask, what it does is it automatically pushes a certain level of oxygen, forces it into your lungs, and hopes to force out the CO2. The doctors had turned it up as far as it would go. Her doctor had called my sister and I out into the hall and started talking to us about we should be ready to make a decision whether or not to pull the plug if this doesn't work. A terrible, terrible feeling that I wish no one ever had to go through. However, I do know that parents and children are sometimes faced with the fact that that's a decision that they have to make. The doctor then also, we had told him that my brother was in Afghanistan, and he readily told us that he would call the Red Cross immediately to start everything rolling, to get the ball rolling, to get him shipped home as soon as possible, that she was that bad. All we could do was just pray from there. I remember a lot of tears, a lot of thinking, I'm not ready for this, and nobody is. We had a lot of prayers. We had a lot of other family support, a lot of friend support, everybody praying. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, I can sit here and say that that day, my brother and my sisters and I, and along with the rest of our family, saw a miracle. By 7 p.m. that night, the iPad machine started working. Her vitals started stabilizing, and she came back to us. There's probably approximately 2 days that she has no recollection of, but she is now home, and she is doing well. And since then, as of March of this year, the level of oxygen that she has to be on at home is the lowest it's been in over a year. She looks so much better. She looks 100% better to me than she has in the past year. Unfortunately, she cannot do a lot because of the emphysema and now the congestive heart failure. But she is lively, and she loves to laugh, and she's just a big inspiration to me. She never gives up. After that, we lost my grandmother, who was so very close to all of us, in July. It seemed to hit my niece and my nephew, who are now 11 and 14, and my daughter the hardest. They were very close to their great-grandmother. I remember sitting down with my niece. My sister had just had her first child at the age of 43 last May. And I remember sitting down with my niece, who was 10 at the time, and she was so sad for my nephew Nicholas, the little guy. She said that she felt bad because he would never get to know how special of a great-grandma she was to all of them. I tried to console her in the effect that telling her that, just like in the Bible, we remember people in our lives after they have gone, as a story has been told for generations and generations. Although we may not know the people, may never have met them, because they have passed away before us, that their spirit, their memory will always live on as long as there are pictures to show and stories to tell. That seemed to help her understand that with little Nicholas, even though he had will never remember her, he will know who she was and what a beautiful woman she was. The biggest life-changing event for me in the past 3 years was when I was first diagnosed with having melanoma skin cancer. Just hearing the word cancer makes you stop in your tracks. I know it affects so many people in so many ways, whether it be themselves, a spouse, a child. someone in their family, friends, somebody they know. It affects so many people. For me, I was lucky. Since that time, I have had 3 surgeries. I have had many, many areas tested on my body to keep ahead of any further possible melanomas. About half of the testing that I have had done had been coming back what's called dysplastic. Dysplastic cells are bad cells in the area that have the potential to develop into melanoma if they aren't caught in time. Some of the areas that had showed dysplastic, I have had to have same-day surgery, outpatient surgery, to go deeper into the skin to get all of the bad cells removed. This, like I said, it has been life-changing. I am more aware of things to look for on my skin. I know what to do to help protect it better. And with your help, I would like to put out there to the younger people especially, laying out in the sun, people are going to do it, men, women alike, but protect yourself. If you see something on your skin you're not sure about, go to your doctor, get a referral to a dermatologist, have them look at it. And probably the biggest possible advice that I could give, and I know so many females especially love to go to the tanning booth to prepare themselves for the summer sun and get that summer tan. The statistics show that a person has a 300% more chance of getting skin cancer from going to a tanning bed than they do just from being out in the sun. There are so many ways to protect yourself. Please, just do it. I know there are so many different types of cancer, and this is just one of many, but it is also a killer. And thank God every day that mine was caught in time. Now, there are days when I feel sorry for myself, so to speak. I have bad days where, especially in the summer when it becomes short season and swimming season, I will just look at my body and there are scars everywhere. And they're kind of like a constant reminder of what can happen and what has happened and the pain that I've gone through in enduring this. And it's tough some days, but I try to think positive. In every situation that has happened, I try to look at the positive. The positive side of this is that I was so lucky I didn't have to have chemotherapy or radiation. I've had the surgeries. I didn't even have to spend an overnight stay in a hospital. So yes, I am so thankful, and that is definitely a blessing in my life. And I would like to take just a moment to say to those who are fighting cancer of any type that be strong. You're not alone. And I think about you every day. I may not know you, I may know you, but the point is that you are not alone. So I am definitely inspired. I'm inspired by many people. And that is the reason for this video. the worst thing that, one of the worst things that's going on in my life now is that I do stand a good chance of losing my apartment and possibly losing my car. I have so many bills, and as of next month, my child support will no longer be available, and the Social Security that I had gotten from my daughter when she graduates will no longer be available, which takes my monthly income down quite a bit. With my income going down so far, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have bills that I pay on monthly, and so far I've been able to keep them paid with no extra money at the end of the month. Nothing to use for everyday household needs. Things on a personal level that, people just need to take care of themselves. Shampoo, toiletries, different things like that. There's just no extra money, so I have had to go to the length of using my credit cards that I had. Bad idea. Bad idea. Young adults that are just starting out, unless you know everything and you have a good job, please research your credit card before you apply. Right now, the credit card industry has very high annual percentage rates, which has become one of my biggest debts. In having to pay for medical expenses, for my medical problems, and having to use my monthly income to pay my credit cards, that is why there's nothing left at the end of the month. So, but it could be worse. I could be out on the street right now, and I'm not. I am lucky to still be in my apartment at this time. I am lucky to have a family who is so supportive and so inspirational, always telling me to keep my chin up. And, there's got to be help somewhere out there. And there actually was. I checked into different things, different agencies in my area, and found out that I did qualify for help with extra things like telephone, which is so important. I need to keep in contact with my doctors, my cancer doctor, my dermatologist, my family doctor, for to make sure that my depression is maintained, which thankfully that is as well. But there are also agencies out there that can help with electric bills. I'm saying this because for those who watch your show who feel like they don't know where to turn, go to your local assistance office, look in the phone book, call everybody you can think of, ask friends, ask neighbors, ask people that you go to church with, ask teachers that your children have in school. There are things out there that can help you that you may not even have a clue that you qualify for. And I have done that. Unfortunately, in my situation, it hasn't been quite enough. It has been a big help, but I am still in debt, approximately $13,000 and between $13,000 and $14,000. That would pay off my credit cards. That would pay off a bank loan. That would help me to put new tires on my car, which are badly needed. That would help me to put new headlights in my car, which are badly needed. I don't need a new car. The car I have is a good running car. It is used, yes, but it's less than 100,000 miles. It runs good. It just needs a few pick-me-ups to make it safer. So that is my biggest brick wall right now would be my debts. To the inspirational part, Ellen, there has been no other person that has inspired me more in the past year than yourself. I want to thank you so much for every time when I turn your show on. You have a smile on your face. You dance. You joke with Tony, and it's just so amazing the joy and the love that comes through a TV set simply by watching you. You're inspiring in the way that you help so many people, people that wouldn't know what to do or wouldn't be able to make it without the help of someone like you. I think you have a beautiful soul. One of my goals, it's actually, I have started a sort of a bucket list, but my bucket list is a little different than normal. Whereas on my bucket list, I have on there things that I can do without leaving my own hometown. Things to better myself, to become the person that I want to be before I die. To acquire a beautiful soul, to be considered a person with a beautiful soul like yourself, is one of the things on my bucket list. You show such immense compassion to people, and it's so gratifying to know that all I have to do, whether I'm having a bad day or I just simply slip a little bit and can't seem to put that smile on my face to share to someone else, is just turn on my TV and watch Ellen, and my inspiration is automatically returned, and I can make it through the rest of my day. There are a few other people that I consider to have a beautiful soul. Not many that have I known in my lifetime. One is my mother. Another, I have two neighbors who are what I consider to have beautiful souls. They are so willing to listen. They would give their last penny to you if they thought it would help. They are so willing to just be there and give you a smile when you feel like it's the last thing that you can do that day. I love your show, obviously. I love the dancing. I would love to sometime be able to meet you in person and to thank you for the inspiration that you give me on a daily basis. I don't see that happening anytime in the near future. I can't afford to fly out to see you. But with all my heart, I thank you so much for just continuing to inspire me every day as I'm going through my life and trying to make these changes, to be an inspiration to others and to let them know that they're not alone. Probably the biggest thing on my bucket list is, and this will probably never happen in my lifetime, but I've always been a tremendous Journey fan. Of course, that was when Steve Perry was lead singer for Journey. Since he has left the band, I understand that, as the song says, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Everybody has to, at some point in their lives, decide what's right and for themselves and to make a change if necessary. And in Mr. Perry's case, that is understandable. That's what he needed to do. In finding a suitable replacement for Mr. Perry, there have been a few, two others, and the latest being Arnell. I'm not going to say his last name because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Journey had a very unique sound when Mr. Perry was the lead singer. Journey still has a very unique sound for themselves. As Arnell sings with Perry, it's still Journey, but it's with a different singer. He's coming into his zone. They're making Journey who they are now. People don't go back and say, oh, we need to try and be like this again. They move forward as Mr. Perry has with his life, and I wish Journey continued success. Which brings me to my top of my bucket list wish. One day it would be my wish to meet Mr. Steve Perry, the voice himself, in person, but not as a superstar or the star that he is. I love his solo music. He is a phenomenal singer. A lot of the things that I know about him, I've either learned on the internet or Facebook, and half of those things you really can't believe. And I'd rather be able to meet him in person and get to talk to him and get to know the man that's not the star, the man behind the voice. Everybody knows his voice. It's so recognizable. What I would like to do is I would like to talk with the man about life, normal things. I know that he likes to plant flowers. He has been quoted to say that flowers are joy with interest. And I think that's so very true. He seems to be a very wonderful man. And I don't know if anybody would ever be able to make that happen, but if anybody can, Alan, it would be you. You seem to know everybody. You seem to have connections everywhere, and everybody loves you. And I think that's just about it. That's me. That's who I am. I am say poor, but ever looking forward to a brighter day. And I hope to become as inspiring as those who inspire me the most. And once again, Ellen, you are one of the biggest. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video. My pauses, I was really nervous in making this. But continued success on your show, and I hope that you never lose the qualities and the things that you stand for, which are so admirable. I just hope that you never lose those things that make you who you are. I love you.